It's the food and wine festival that rivals all food and wine fests, and it's coming to Miami Beach next week. The South Beach Wine and Food Festival draws A-listers and people from all over the world alike. Joining us is bartender Rob. We really mix it off, right?
Ounce and a half of Hennessy VS.
Ounce and a half.
You use fresh lime juice, which is going to be a ½ ounce. And the cool thing about this is each half of a lime is equal to a ½ ounce. So it kind of does the work for you.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to the show. My name's Dean Serneels, and you have joined us at Behind the Glass with Dean Serneels. It's a magazine show where we cover all kinds of different bartending things, like a great bar trick that I'm going to show you in just a minute. I have an original cocktail here. It's based on a very old cocktail, a Prohibition-style cocktail. This is Prohibition Week, of course. Yesterday was Prohibition Day, and today is the day after Prohibition. But our guest trainer of the day, he'll be talking about some Prohibition cocktails. We have a Prohibition question with our new sponsor, our very own sponsor of the show. Can you believe that? Somebody has stepped up to the plate and said, hey, we want to be a sponsor of your show, and that is, of course, DNA Bartender Trivia. I mean, why not, right? We're doing a trivia section of the show, so we're going to use that to promote DNA Trivia, which is a big hit. We'll tell you a little bit more about it as we get going on in the day. All right, this cocktail I call the Bee's Kisses. It is a bee's knees, but I've put my own little twist on it. I'm going to show you that right after I show you this great bar trick. I've got Allison on in the booth today, running everything from behind the scenes. So please write in a comment, say hi, Allison, and you'll get to meet her later on in today's show, but also at DNA Bar Trivia on Sundays at 10 o'clock. All right. So here's my fancy bar top. I wanted to show you the bar trick of the week. Just using some matches. All right, I'm going to set the matches up in a little cross. I know it's a little bit difficult to see. Not sure if we can see that on the other angle or not. Let's see if we can zoom in on those. No, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. All right, but what I've also done is I've got these 4 sticks to show the matches a little bigger because I knew you'd be a distance away. There's Lynn. We went to high school together. Oh, no, sorry, wrong Lynn. I'm sorry, Lynn. That's Lynn from Chuck Lynn. There was 4 bartender training videos back in the late 90s, early 2000s. John Bandy did one, and then Chuck Rom did one as well. Taught how to flair. It was one of the original videos. So Chuck and I got to know each other, and then of course his now wife Lynn, and yeah. So I was making videos, and then Scott Young, of course, as well. So all right. So I've got my 4 matches set up here. If you can kind of see them there. Whoop, it's rolling down. That's why I've got this tray here. So here it is with my big sticks. There's the 4 matches. We set those 4 matches up on the bar top just like so. And the quest is make those matches into a square. Can you form a square with these 4 matches by only moving 1 match? All right, so again, bar tricks. We set them up on the bar with our guests. We get them a drink. We get their food on the way. When their food's being cooked, you set up a bar trick in front of them. And then you can run off and do whatever else you need to do behind the bar while they're trying to figure out this trick. By the time they've figured it out or you've given them the answer, their food's ready, it's time for another drink, and they didn't miss a beat and they didn't have to wait for anything. So that's the trick. I'll show you how to do this trick at the end of the show, right at the very, very end, after Rob Husted joins us. He's going to teach us something about mixology. All right, so I'm behind the glass. I reach out to my friends in the industry, bring in some of the best bartenders in the world, and I make sure that they teach us something. And then if you want to see more of an interview with Rob, join us on Wednesday evening, where Beyond the Glass is a new segment of Behind the Glass. Beyond the Glass comes out on Wednesday nights, and that's where Rob and I just have a more candid, fun conversation of 2 old bar friends getting along together. All right, so join us there, but we'll be back in just a second, and I'm going to show you how to make the bee's kisses. Hey everyone, this week's trivia question is brought to you by DNA Bar Trivia. This is my co-host, Allison.
Hey everybody, I have a trivia question for you. What date did American Prohibition end? A. December 5th, 1933. B. December 6th, 1934. C. January 17th, 1919. Or D. November 6th, 1934. Find out the answer after this.
All right, so that's our new sponsor of the show. Our own show is the sponsor of our show. Why not, right? So here's a fun drink. I promise to always do an original cocktail. My job during the day is, of course, working with American beverage marketers. We do Rial and Finest Call and Master of Mixes products. Very proud to work with this company. But my job is to create cocktails. Recreate old cocktails, innovate new cocktails, and I wanted to bring that to you guys. So every week I make a cocktail. It's going to be an original cocktail. However, sometimes an original cocktail can be just the slightest twist on an old-fashioned cocktail. So I want to show you that right now today. Talking about Prohibition. Prohibition, of course, was when, or the American Prohibition in the 1920s, started in 1919. When America was not allowed, or alcohol was not allowed to be manufactured, sold, or distributed. But they didn't say anything about drinking it. So It was okay to drink it, but you weren't allowed to sell it. If you got caught selling it, you were in trouble, but you were okay to drink it. So that's where the flaw in the plan was. Anyway, because it wasn't being made properly or commercially anymore, people would make something that was called bathtub gin. Now that only meant that they were making the gin in their bathtubs with the big tubs and mixing alcohols and different spirits and flavors together to make something that sort of tasted like gin. All right. A couple of the reasons for the bathtub: they couldn't get the big jerry cans that they were using underneath the tubs or into their kitchen sinks, so they had to put them in the bathtubs. But also in the bathtub, if the law came knocking on the front door, you could turn them upside down and just pour them into the sewer, and you'd never get caught for the alcohol. All right. This is the bee's knees. The bee's knees, of course, is... Where's my jigger here? I've got 2 ounces of gin. I'm using some aviation gin. And some triple sec. 1 ounce of triple sec. And some single pressed lemon juice. Of course, this is the finest call. Single pressed lemon juice. Pressed once, and it has a shelf life of 3 months or after opening, non-refrigerated. I know, it's crazy, it's bizarre. I'm also going to add some agua faba or garbanzo bean water. And my twist of the day, which changes this from the bee's knees. So this cocktail is the bee's knees, like I said, but this now becomes the bee's kisses because I've changed the recipe just ever so slightly with just a bar spoon of passion fruit real. Very good. The agua faba replaces egg whites. And you'll see on the show when I'm talking to Rob, we are going to be talking about agua faba versus egg whites and making another prohibition cocktail. But that comes out on Wednesday. So here we go. We're going to shake this up. Beautiful. I've got a coupe glass, nicely chilled. I had some ice cubes in there. I have a sugar rim on here, but just half a sugar rim, or a quarter sugar rim, because I just put sugar on the outside of half of the rim. All right. Go in for a strain. You can see the agua faba has made this great froth. And of course the passion fruit real is going to sweeten the cocktail a little bit, but it also adds this really neat tart flavor to it because passion fruit is pretty tart. So, moving along, there it is. And I'm just going to put a couple of drips of Peychaud's bitters in here just to kiss the top of the cocktail, just like that. All right. So here is the bee's kisses for you today on Behind the Glass. There it is. Let's see if we can get that recipe going. There it is. The bee's kisses.
We're back. Are you ready for your answer? What date did American Prohibition end? The answer is A, December 5th, 1933.
Be sure to join us every Sunday night at 10 o'clock right here where you get to interact with Allison and I with DNA Bartender Trivia.
See you then.
You know, I'm really enjoying building this show with you guys every week. For those of you that have been following along every week and watching us blunder and trip over ourselves as we grow it, it's been a fabulous adventure. Allison and I decided to just pull the trigger. I was working for months trying to plan this thing, and we just pulled the trigger 2 months ago almost. And we've been learning as we go. So I appreciate everybody that's been following along. It's getting better every show. I'm getting very excited. January 1st, season 2 of Behind the Glass will start. And that's when I hope that we'll have everything together. But I also have a stunning lineup of guests. I'm not going to tell you right now, but there is a fabulous lineup of guests every Sunday. I've got flair, I've got mixology, I've got flair, I've got mixologists, I've got mixologists that do flair. I got all kinds of crazy stuff. Lots of great things happening come January, but don't miss. We've got Casey Wallen coming up on our next episode as well. But anyway, I digress. I'll tell you about all that at the end. Our guest today, Mr. Rob Husted, he and I have been in the business together for, he's been in it for 27 years. I've been in it for just over 30 years. So we both have 3 decades. We've done so many bartending competitions together. There was a number of years where he ran the competition and I emceed it. It was absolutely fabulous. Great friend. He's doing all the things that I hope to do with this show: teaching, training, doing flair, doing mixology, and he's just got the full package. And I love having Rob as a dear friend. So let's watch this sizzle reel and we'll get him on the show. He's going to teach us something right after this.
Joining us is bartender Rob. We really a mixologist, right?
Ounce and a half of Hennessy V.
Ounce and a half.
Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Rob Husted!
Wow, that video brings back some great memories, Dean. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just a pleasure having you here. So thank you very much for joining us, man. You look like a preacher. Are you going to read from the Bible?
Well, you wanted me to teach something, and it's funny as I've watched the Dean Serneels show, the Mad Mixologist, and everything in between, I have my own copy of the Bon Voyants.
Nice.
Mine is actually signed from 1928. And it's so
What?
funny because I forgot about it. Yeah, it's signed from 1928.
You
I forgot about this, the passage that's written here, so I'm going to read that right now. And
Did you say it was signed?
Yeah.
Signed by who?
That's the crazy thing. It says, "May you find the makings for every joy hereon set forth." And it's signed by Parson and Parsonette. So I have no idea what that is, but it says December 1928.
Wow, that's really fabulous.
Yeah, I've been trying to Google it, trying to find out who they are. I have no idea, but that saying kind of sets us up to what we're going to teach about today.
Wow, say it. Sorry, can you say that one more time? The volume's a little bit low on me.
This book is going to fall apart.
There we go. Thank you. That was perfect. Yeah, I have that. I have the 1928 version myself.
It says,
Read
"May
that,
you
please.
find the makings for every joy here within set forth."
May you find the makings of.
For every joy herein set forth.
All right, I'm gonna write that down. I like that a lot. Thank you for sharing
Yeah.
that. Even if there's nothing else, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, Rob Husted.
I'm going to teach something that I actually learned many, many years ago from Dean Serneels.
Woohoo!
It was at an event called Mixology Matters, where it was the middle of one of the biggest flair bartending competitions in the United States. But we wanted to showcase how to make proper cocktails as well. So we had a whole cocktail convention going on in the middle of a big flair bartending competition.
Right. Or was it a flair bartending competition going on at the same time as this big mixology competition?
How about a bunch of bartenders just getting together and having a great time?
You were doing some really cutting edge stuff then, Rob, and I applaud you for all of it. Because at a time when there was a real divide between mixologists and flair guys, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm going to be a little edgy here maybe, but as a flair guy who did mixology, the mixologists were like, yeah, I don't do that flair stuff. But the flair guys were like, yeah, I do flair, but show me more mixology. You know, and there was this kind of resentment that came from some of the mixologists, not all of them, but some of the mixologists didn't like the flair, whereas the flair guys were like, yeah, let's make drinks too, bring it on.
I learned this early on in life. If there's something I'm bad at, I'm going to talk bad about it or talk positively about something I'm good at. And not saying that was the case, but there's definitely some resemblances there. And one thing I can say with this, with the flair community, you can attest to this, anytime we competed, I'd be the first one to bar back for you on stage. Catch your bottles. Try to get you knock those introductions. I want you to succeed. And in flair, we all push each other to do better.
Right. And we would meet before the competitions. We would meet out in the grass and share ideas and share tricks. And, you know, I would teach you something that I was using in my show. You know, it was just such a great community. And it still is such a great community. There's still yard days going on around the world now. It's such a great community. However, in the due process with the mixologists, they're
not to knock anything, but when I started doing
that
more
stigma's gone.
It wasn't the same family, there wasn't the same love there. It was more cutthroat, which I get it. Good for you. Like, it's just a different stage. But coming up from flair, we all wanted to learn from each other and push each other better. Right. And it was great seeing when we combined it with the USBG at the World Cocktail Championship, the IBA qualifiers. The flair bartenders put on an amazing show, and the crowd was crazy for them, loving it.
Right.
But we were still learning about the cocktails. And then when the mixologists came up, they kind of lost their crowd a little bit because they weren't entertaining. But who connected was those flair bartenders. It was like, oh my God, the shit we did with those bitters and how that play together, or that stir. We stir two drinks at once. And then we started to push each other where the mixologists, and I hate to say the word mixologist and flair bartender, for this,
Right.
The mixologists started seeing, wow, if I start to loosen up the tie a little bit, have fun, I have more fun at the bar, I'm going to score a little bit better, and the crowd loves it, and I'm going to get more entertainment points. And the flair bartenders learned from the mixologists how to make better cocktails. And together, we became better bartenders.
Yes, and I remember standing with you in New Orleans for Tales of the Cocktail. We had this very conversation 10 years ago, and I remember us saying that 10 years from now, the conversation's going to be totally different, and everybody's going to have blended together, and that has happened thanks to YouTube and Instagram and all that stuff. We've got great mixologists that are doing some flair, and flair bartenders doing mixology, and we're all just getting back to bartending to the best of our ability, or bartending better now. How's that? Did you see what I did there? Yeah, so I think we've all grown. We've all grown so much, and then now we're on the cusp of a brand new generation of bartenders. I think we're in a really, really interesting spot.
I can't wait for us to sit down 10 years from now and have that next time.
Yeah, so teach us something. Sorry, I went off on a tangent there. It's my job to keep us from going on a tangent, and I went. So teach us something, Rob.
It was a great tangent. So what I learned from Dean Serneels, he was at Mixology Matters. He was teaching a seminar. And within the seminar, I learned about the taste access string, which I'm not mistaken, you learned from Philip Duff or Robin Weiss?
It was Philip Duff.
Philip Duff.
Philip Duff.
What it was is
yeah. I got my solid base of how to be a mixologist, because I was a flair guy, is all Philip Duff. I have to give Philip most of the credit for a lot of my career. So, sorry, go ahead.
He's awesome. So this is basically a great trick, not a great trick, a great tool to use when you're working a bar, how to deal with dealer's choice. I work at high value bars. I've worked at high value bars most of my life, but I love giving personalized experiences for cocktails. And it's even on our menu at TVO where it's called Bartender's Choice. Have a conversation with the bartender to make a tailored cocktail to suit your needs. But in high volume, you want to keep that conversation as quick as possible, move on to the next guest to make more money for your venue as well as more tips for yourself.
Right.
But still give that tailored experience to that guest and they feel special and they get their money's worth. So when I learned about the Taste Access drink from Dean, we kind of took that and evolved it to slice. So here's the Taste Access drink. I want you to think about it. 4 quadrants or 4 boxes. And in those 4 boxes, I want you to put sweet, sour, strong, and weak. Because I hate when someone comes to the bar and says, dealer's choice, I normally drink margarita. All right, well, cool. What are you going to do? You're going to rehash the margarita recipe or make something slightly different and give them a variation of something you had? Or, I normally drink whiskey. So I like something with whiskey. Well, great. I'm going to give you the same rehashed cocktail you always get. Hell no. I want to give you an experience. So by using the Taste Access grid and asking them 2 questions.
You're sharing the screen with the Taste Access grid, Rob.
I see it. Perfect. So by asking them 2 questions, the first question being, do you want something sweet, sour, strong, or weak? Asking that one question, they tend to always answer by using 2 of them. I want something strong and sweet. Or I want something weak and sour. So now in that Taste Access grid to the right there, you can pin a pin in that map and have a profile of what they like to drink.
Right.
Opposed to just rehashing the same margarita they had, rehashing an old fashioned. Now you have a profile. Well, I want something sweet and strong. We all know sweet and strong cocktails. I'll make you something like 3 dots in a dash, a rum runner, something like that.
Where does the Long Island sit? Where does that sit on the Taste Access grid?
Now you have a profile that you can open up your palate and judge them more. And then how I evolve that, how I teach my staff is I ask them a second question. Is there any flavors you don't like?
Okay. Make sure they don't like cream or...
Something great, like, oh my God, that was great. I just hate coconut. And I asked that, we would have been here this, I would have had to wait.
Right. So you've learned that from experience then. Exactly. Right, that has happened to you, right?
I didn't come up with that. It happened through experience. I'm like, wow, I'm going to start asking this question. That saves so much time. So when working a high-volume bar, within a 3-second conversation, you give a personalized experience, make them an amazing cocktail that they can only get from you, and give them that tailored experience while creating more revenue for yourself and the bar.
Right, and it gives you a chance to engage with the guests right away, right? Do you want something strong or weak, sweet or sour? And then, is there anything you don't like, right? Just to make sure that... Right, and that will certainly push you in the direction you want.
Well, if you throw that at me, I'm like, no, I'm not asking if you don't like spirits. I'm asking if you don't any flavors you don't like. Because I can make an amazing gin cocktail. You're like, holy crap, that was amazing.
I didn't even know there was gin in this.
Exactly, it's all about the flavors.
Right, and you can balance that gin cocktail out or a whiskey cocktail, but it's strong or weak, sweet or sour. So do you have what it takes there to make a drink? Or... Sorry, say it again.
What's that? And then just what you said, any flavors you don't like.
Right. Do you have what it takes behind the bar there to make a cocktail for me based on those 2 questions?
I will fake it as well as I can right now with this limited bar.
Totally on the spot. Yeah, right,
Sweet, sour, strong, or weak?
I like something sweet and strong.
Sweet and strong? Any flavors you don't like?
I don't like pineapple juice. I don't know. I just picked something. Okay. I like pineapple juice.
Yeah, no problem.
I do like pineapple juice. For all the fans of pineapple juice, don't be hating me right now. I just had to pick something. So talk us through it, Rob. What are you creating there off the fly?
All right, so sweet and strong. Oh, you're making this too easy for me, buddy. I love you.
Well, it's really simple when you break it down the way you are.
So I'm going to strong. It's something from your hometown because I know a little bit about Dean Serneels. I'm going to use Old Forester. So we're going to use 2 ounces of this, and I think Dean's going to see where this is going in a second.
Oh, and you're not going, oh, you can't make that drink and be thousands of miles away.
And then I'm going to use, which just got shipped to me yesterday, it's brand new, the Angostura Cocoa Bitters.
I have seen that, and of course I'm excited about that. You know I'm more excited about that than most humans on the planet.
And it comes with this amazing top. Let me go get it for you.
Oh, we're getting a close-up here, folks. Don't go away. Do not change the channel. Don't look away. Oh, he's looking around for the top.
There it is. It comes with an amazing top, almost like a Cocktail Kingdom top, that screws right on top of the Angostura Bitters.
Oh, isn't that
How
fabulous?
sexy is that? So we're going to add 2 dashes of that.
So now you can control where the drip goes on top of the foams, right? When we were talking about the aquafaba and the egg white.
You done that with the bitters bottle. How smart was this?
Nice. I love it. I love that innovation. I love that that proves that they're working with bartenders and thinking about the application for bartenders, which is something that American Beverage does a lot of. And I truly appreciate that, being a bartender, making my job easier.
American Beverage was the first ones to ever do that. The fact that they made their pour spouts to pour like a still stop 2550, mind blowing at the time. Like the fact that you cared enough to make my job easier and my consistent pour the same as a pour spout, you guys are genius. And it's a bartender friendly package.
Yeah. Hey, Rob, do a shout out to Levi. Levi's watching somewhere tonight.
Levi Johnson, I love that guy.
Yeah.
We're going to use a little bit of agave real. And then we're going to stir that bad boy up.
So the taste access grid. So where does that fit on the taste access grid?
So this is going to be sweet and strong, like you said, with no pineapple.
Right. So sweet and strong. So we've got sweet and sour on 2 ends of the box, and then weak and strong at the other 2 ends, the top and the bottom. So all the drinks fit into that square. I wish I had a closer picture of that square for you, but that's how the taste access grid works. Bowls Liqueurs had that on their website for a long time. Cool. Rob, that looks beautiful. Chocolate old fashioned.
Chocolate old fashioned. To be honest, I'm being a little cheeky right now. And Dean and I didn't plan this, but the first time I had this was actually with Dean Serneels, and he named it this exact cocktail. So Dean, cheers to you, brother.
Cheers to you, my friend. Cheers, cheers. Join me in the new year, Rob. I'm going to show you a different drink there that I call the Confession. Great job, Rob. That's fabulous. Rob and I have started a good conversation. We need to continue it tonight. That will be playing on Wednesday. Join us on Wednesday on YouTube. It's only playing on YouTube. It's called Beyond the Glass with Rob Husted, where Rob and I just kind of chit-chat about the old times, and we make a couple of cocktails for Prohibition and whatnot. It's a really fabulous conversation, which looks a lot like this one now, but it's just a little bit more off the cuff and a little bit more just fun. Rob, where can we find you online? I want to subscribe for you and follow all your stuff.
The best way to do it would be on Instagram, would be Bartend Better Now, or the website bartendbetternow.com. And if you want to hire me, the easiest way to do it is cocktailsforhire.com. Cocktails, the number 4, hire.com.
Well, that was pretty darn clever of you, now wasn't it?
You know what? I fake that I'm smart sometimes.
Good for you, man. Good for you. All right, we're going to get back to Behind the Glass. Rob, thanks for joining us. I hope we'll have you back in 2021, all right? I'm currently booking into March of 2021 for my guests. All right, cheers, Rob.
Cheers.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. All right. let's get on to our bar trick, and maybe we got time for a joke. Let's squeeze one quick joke in here before we go.
And now, Bad Bar Jokes with Dean Serneels.
A guy walks into a bar and sees a horse serving drinks. The guy just stares until finally the horse says, "What's the problem? You never seen a horse serving drinks?" "Oh, it's not that," the man replies. "I just never thought the turtle would sell the place."
This has been Bad Bar Jokes with Dean Serneels.
Joining us is bartender.
I gotta tell you, Allison and I get a good kick out of those jokes. We recorded them all one night, and they're bad. They're just bad, but you can't not giggle at them. I was surprised when the turtle sold the place. All right, here we go. The bar trick of the day. Now, these bar tricks, sometimes they're a little silly, a little cheesy. However, so I made these big matches, which are actually just chisels with some tape on them, just so that it wouldn't roll down my display table here. Here's the little matches. The question was, you set up these 4 matches and say, can you make these 4 matches form a square by using or moving only one match? And you let people sit with it for a little while, and you come back and you move one match, just move it out like that, and you form a square. The square is actually in the dead center of all of them. That's how cheesy this trick is. If you can see it, it's hard to see there. I think I'm going to roll it. They're all going to fall apart. There's a square on the inside. I know it's bad. It's a cheesy bar trick, but it's true. We formed a square with those 4 matches by only moving one match. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us today. Please join us on Sunday nights at 10 o'clock. We've got DNA bar trivia coming up. Allison and I are doing all prohibition questions this week, so it's going to be a little more difficult this week. And on Wednesday night, join me Wednesday night for Beyond the Glass with Rob Husted. It's a really fabulous conversation. Rob and I are just chit-chatting about the old days and making a couple of cocktails for Prohibition. Thanks for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Special thanks to Allison, looking beautiful tonight and working the desk like a pro. We'll see you guys at 10 o'clock with DNA Trivia. Cheers.